And we are live. What's up, guys? What's up? All right. What's up, guys? What's going on? Yes, my people. So, what's up? How you all doing today? Blessed day to each and every one. I don't know, man. I'm trying to do this live, but giving me a lot of issues. So, I'm going to try it one more time and let's see how it works. All right. Our focus study is on these plants. We're gonna be doing a few things today with these plants. I don't know, is the lighting in that bright at all. But anyhow, we gotta make this live go through, man. We gotta make this live go through. So I'm gonna make it happen. Somehow or the other, I'm gonna make it happen. So shout out to everybody out there. Appreciate each and every one. All right, so guys, what we're gonna be doing today, we're gonna be focusing on. It's really not doing nothing out there, man. Yes, we're gonna be focusing on some hacks. I'm going to give you some hacks right here, guys. But first, I want to say shout out to everyone, and I want to say thank you all for all the support. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the notification bell, please hit the notification bell. It's gonna be a beautiful session. I'm hoping that you guys gonna enjoy this session that I'm going to do here right now. It's gonna be a very informative session. So, what do you see I have here? What I have here, man, the lighting is really bad. But what I have here, I have a cassava stalk in this vase. I also now cut a fresh cassava limb. I have this cassava growing indoors. So I now cut this fresh cassava limb and I'm live so you know it's fresh. and we in January at this moment. So I'm gonna show you how I prepare this cassava limb in order to get it in this form. I'm gonna show you how. Okay, I'm gonna show you how I prepare it to get it in this form. All right. I also gonna be planting this one. I'm also gonna be planting this one. Yes. So we have, we have a lot to do. We also gonna show you an onion hack today, how we prepare our onion and how we was able to get 10 onion from one onion bottom. I think I'm gonna put that link in the description. Hey, good eat, what's up? Yes, I really think I think so, because I'm getting a hard time trying to do this live this morning. Real hard time. But thank you for being here, sis. Appreciate it. Yes, I have a video where I take the onion and cut off the bottom. I'm going to show you the steps that I make, what I do. And I was able to get 10 onions from one onion bottom. It's possible. And I'm going to show you how I do it, what I do to make that happen. All right? And I'm hoping that you could try and get the same result. So what I have here a container of dirt, container of soil. Right? I have a container of soil. I'm going to take this cassava stalk out of this vase and I'm going to plant it in this soil. Okay, so I'm going to plant it in this soil, but I also have to make sure I keep this plants in a place that it could get the temperature. Okay. Share it and hope others can join, because I need all the hacks. All right, thank you, sis. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes. So, like I was saying, in this container, I'm going to transplant this thing today into this. Now, because the root system is pretty big. If you could see the root system. This is good enough. And all these other white one up there, as you can see, all that is other white root coming in there. So this already creates a root system. And if you notice, you see it have the leaf going. So what I want to do, I want to take this now and transplant this into some soil, and then I'm going to take another one and put it back inside this and leave it. So this is a soil. You see, guys, this is a cassava stalk. And like I was now saying, we live, so you know. This is fresh leaf. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is a tropical plant. This plant cannot take the cold weather at all. It cannot take the cold weather at all, right? But I have this plant indoors heading for 3 months now. Almost 3 months, and it still have on fresh green leaf, and the stalk is fresh and green. So when I tell you about creating an atmosphere that these plants could survive, I know exactly what I'm talking about, because I'm actually doing it on the regular. So this is why I can say that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here now, I'm going on, this is the soil I have here. Let me see if I can bend it over and show you the soil. You see? That's the soil I have inside here. This is actually some clay soil mixed with leaf that I had in this container because I already know that I'm getting ready. I prepared the container ahead of time. So now I decide after this have so much root. Instead of me try to continue keep it in the water, I tell myself, no, why you don't put this in this container, plant this down in this container here. You see? Plant this down in this container and allow it to grow. And I'm gonna just do so. I'm gonna put it down in the container. Then what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna pull the soil around it. So just like that, this cassava is planting, right? So this cassava, all I have to do with this cassava, with this plant, I have to make sure I put it in an area that the temperature cannot drop below, I'll say 37 degrees. The temperature cannot drop below 37 degrees. Or if the temperature drop below 37 degrees, this plant, I can lose the plant. Hey, what's up, T? WP Popcorn, what's up? Yes, so if I don't keep this in a temperature above 37 degrees, above 40 degrees, I'm gonna lose this plant. So now I have to keep this plant in the condition just to keep it alive from now till April. And that seems like a lot of time. Now, the way how I'm going to deal with this plant is I'm going to treat this plant I'm not going to give this plant too much water, and I don't want to give it too much nutrients. I don't want to do that. I just want these plants to survive. I'm hardly going to wet this plant. I just want it to survive. So when I transplant it into the rich soil, then it's going to take off. Anyhow you transplanting, where you move it from is either the soil is the same or it's even richer. You cannot take it from rich soil and put it in poor soil because that's how the growth, you reverse the process. You back in the growth because you put it in a different soil that it used to. Now we got to adjust. And one thing we know how plants easy to adjust. Not that easy, but they take time, but they will adjust. No, this is a cassava stalk I have right here. The good thing about cassava stalk, you don't need to peel off the skin, and you really don't want the skin to get damaged. You see how the skin, nothing bruised? This is how you want it because the roots comes out of the skin. So like fruit trees, what you will have to do, you will have to peel this off. You will have to peel this off. Like fruit trees, flowers, these type of things. But with the cassava, you just put it in the water just like this. So what I'm gonna do now, something I've learned too. What I've learned too, instead of you put the plant, the cassava stalk, right to the bottom of the plant, you cut it in the vase, you cut it to a way that it will be floating in the water. And what's gonna make it float in the water This right here. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna cut it. You see these 1, 2, 3 star. This gonna block it from going down to the bottom. Because what I've noticed, if it's not down to the bottom, it's produce root faster. This is my experience. Just like this one. You see how this one produce so much root? So now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this cutting knife and I'm gonna cut this one right here. I'm gonna cut it right here. I'm gonna do the same thing here. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Right. Okay. So now, because it is in this form, if it's in this form, what's gonna happen is it's gonna find itself to the right down to the bottom of the vase. You see, I don't want it to the bottom of the vase because I've realized if you do it in this form, it's gonna stuck. You see? These 3 sticks, let me see if you guys see it. Let me see. Right. Because of these 3 sticks, this is gonna block it from going to the bottom. You can see it now. Okay. Right. You see like how this one was? This one, when you put it like this, instead of it drop to the bottom, what happened is float. It's gonna float in the water. And for what I've seen if it's floating in the water, it produces root way faster than if you have it right down to the bottom. So cutting it like this is gonna make it float. Just like this one. You see this one, this had 2 star, a V. So because it had the V, it wasn't able to go, so it was floating. And doing it that way, I've seen how fast this thing push out root. So that's why today I'm doing the same thing again. And I believe this work with flowers. I believe it work with fruit trees as well. Okay? Now we have these little pieces here. These little pieces, I'm not sure if they're gonna work, but I'm gonna put these pieces, I'm gonna save them, and I'm gonna put them in napkins. Not napkin, paper towel. But as you see, this is fresh cassava leaf that I now cut from a fresh live plant that I know that I have. So I still have these 3 stalks to try to root, just for the sake of trying. Just for the sake of trying. Not to say I have to do it, but I'm going to try these just to see. Because this is what gardening is about, man. Gardening is about trying. So even though the start them is so small, I'm still going to try them to see if they're going to work. All right? Cassava is a tropical plant. And cassava produce a lot of, is a root crop. These are where they make farina from. You know farina that you make the porridge with? The root of this plant is what you made, what made that, and many other things. The leaf also, a lot of people eat the leaf. I never eat the leaf, but people use the leaf for dishes. So cassava is really a good plant to grow. You could grow it in container, you could grow it in raised bed, you could grow it in ground. But if you living in zone that you got to deal with the cold weather, then is the smartest thing to do is start it indoors. And if you notice, that is what I'm doing. I'm starting stuff indoors now. So when that time comes, is transplanting. Transplanting. All right, so if you're interested in growing cassava, it doesn't matter where you at, you can grow it. You just got to start it from indoors. And if you start it from indoors, you take it outside after the frost, like in April, whenever your last frost pass, you take it outside. This container is definitely too small. So in the spring, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a knife and I'm gonna split the container down in four. I'm gonna split it down in four pieces. One, and then I'm just gonna open it and then put it in the hole. So this is why I'm putting it in this container. I have one growing in container right now that I planted last April. It's in container right now. The reason why I didn't harvest it, because I think it needed more time. I think it needed more time. So now I have it out there. When I bring it back out in the spring, it can continue its journey. So I'm gonna harvest that November this year. Okay? But these are really good plants to grow, guys. These are root crop that you should be growing. I'm telling you. Not to say you have to, but I'm just saying this thing is very good for you to be growing. Now, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something in a minute. And I'm gonna put the video in the chat. Maybe you could watch this video and you're gonna see the whole process of how I do it, when I transplant it, all of that. Now, this is an onion, right? And all you have to do, you cut this onion, all right? You cut the onion in half. This is a hack, and this hack was from one onion. I received 10 onion. 10. And I'm going to find a video and put it in the description that you could see for yourself. And this is something maybe you could try. So now I have a black sacks, and what I've done, I take it and I put it down in the black sack. You put in the bottom of the onion, not the top. This part is the top, not the top you put in. You actually put in the bottom of the onion and you push it down to the bottom of the sacks. Just like this. And when you're done, you wrap it up. You wrap it up and you put it in a dark area. Leave it for like a week. Leave it for like a week. Or maybe at least 4 or 5 days. You leave it. Then when you're gonna see it sprout. You know what? Let me see if I can find that video. Give me a minute. Let me see if I can find that video for you guys. Put it that you could check out this video. You're gonna see for yourself how much I get from this one onion. What happened there? Okay. Okay, that video gonna show you the result from the bottom of the onion, and you're able to harvest 10 onion from this one onion. This you understand? So it's so many things you could do with plants, and like I'm saying, these are natural ways. These are not ways where you got to use this and you got to spray this and you got to, no, these are natural ways. So what you're gonna see when you open the onion, what you're gonna see, you're gonna see different pieces comes up. You're gonna have different shoots, and you just cut them to pieces and plant them separate. Check that video out. You see for your own self. It's definitely, this is, anything I show you is because I already tried and it worked. I'm not going to come here and say things that I don't know. So now, seeing I transplant this one, I'm going to wet it with a little water, not too much, but the soil is a kind of damp. I'm going to wet it with a little water. Then I'm not going to wet this for another 7 days. I'm not going to wet this for another 7 days. I'm going to put this in a room. Maybe like maybe you could put it in your garage. And what I do, this is styrofoam. This is styrofoam. So what I do, I have the styrofoam on the ground, on the bottom. And so you put in the container on top of this. The styrofoam is what gonna keep it warm, the bottom of the floor. So say for instance, you have a garage. You have your garage and you wanna put your plants on the floor in the garage. You could get a carpet, but the only thing is, with the carpet, when you wet the plants, the water gonna get into the carpet. You know, and sometimes that create mold. But with the styrofoam, what happened, when the water wet it, it runs off. It runs off and run on the floor in the garage. But the carpet suck the water and keep it. And because it's winter and the sun is not drying it out, it could turn mold. So I try to use something that the water could run off. Styrofoam, like you get a flat piece, spread it out on the ground, and then you put your container on top of it. So when you wet, if water run out, it's gonna go on the styrofoam and it's gonna run off on the floor in the garage, but it's not gonna remain in the carpet where the carpet suck it up and could create mold. And mold is something you don't want in your house. Black mold, you don't want to inhale black mold. So you have to do these things in ways to protect yourself. Because even though we're trying to do it indoors in our garage, so you're trying to keep your plants alive indoor in your garage, you also don't want to create no situation that could harm you. So carpet is good, but the only thing, the only reason why I really have to stop tell people about carpet is because of the water situation. If water get in the carpet, it damp, it suck the water, and it can create mold in your garage. And you don't want to do that because mold it grows. All right? So with the onion, you cut it in half, you put the bottom part in a black sacks. Try it for me, guys, and tell me what result you get from it. All right? Try it for yourself and see if it's work for you. So there's another way you can do the onion as well. There's another way. You could have a bowl of water, and you cut off the bottom of the onion and you put it in some water. The same thing gonna happen. It's gonna start to push root and it's gonna start to to push out the sprout then. So you could do it in water and you could do it dry. You ain't got to put it in no water. And you could, but the best result I get was this. This one was the best result I get. Put the onion in the sacks, put it in a dark area, and I'm not gonna take the credit for this. I cannot take the credit for this. I get this credit goes to my grandmother. That's who this credit goes to. Not me, not me. This is something I'm doing that I see. And I try it for myself. And it works out really good for me because I end up with 10 onion from one onion. Like I said, just like this. Say this is the bottom. Say this is the bottom part. You have some water inside the bowl and you just put it inside there and you just leave it. In days, you're going to start seeing it start sprouting. In days, then you're going to start see the bottom pushing out its root. The good thing with onion, onion could really deal with cold weather. The cold weather really don't do nothing to the onion like that. And also the garlic. So instead of you have to go and get the onion seed, which you might get more. Every onion you cut, every onion you cut, you put the bottom in a sacks or in some water and you plant it. So you always, because you use, for the people who use onion a lot, this is something good. This is something you should be doing. For the people who use onion a lot, you should be taking off the bottom of the onion and put it in water or in a sacks. Maybe you could, maybe somewhere warm too. Because this is what's happening here. This is going in something warm. And I'm gonna do a video when this sprout. I'm gonna show you guys when this sprout. I also wanna show you how I prepare it for planting. So right here, as you can see, right here, this cassava stick was in this jar, like this. I remove it from the jar and I put it in the soil. For the people who now come in, this is a cassava I have growing right at this moment. You could see the leaf, them fresh leaf. I now cut them up, cut these from half a here, 1, 2, 3, and then I add this in the water. Why I cut it like this? I could have cut it there, or I could have cut it there. But why I cut it like this? Because I don't want the whole stick to go down. I prefer it floating. And if you could see, you're gonna see it floating right there. You see, it's not to the bottom. I hope you guys can see. Right there where the stick is. It's not to the bottom, it's right there floating. I think it's work better that way. Instead of you have it like this and just drop it down, it's gone right down to the bottom. But this one, Wasn't able to go to the bottom because you have these three stalk, which keep it from going down. So it's going to be floating instead of dropping to the bottom. This one prepared the same way, and it push root really fast, really, really fast. It create a really nice root system pretty fast. So once anything works good for me, this is what I'm gonna be doing. This work good, I'm following the same trend, the same thing because it working good, it pushing out root really fast. So a vase with some water. This is a vase with some water works really well. Because why I say it works well is because I see for myself. Because I try other ways. I try other ways, and this was the fastest way. This one was the fastest one. Put it down in a jar of water, floating, and it works really, really well. So these, usually, I might have throw these away. Why? Because they're small. These are cassava cuttings. I might have throw these away because they're small. But just for the sake of trying, just for the sake of seeing for myself, I'm going to try to root these as well. I'm going to try to see if I can get these to root, propagate. And the way I'm going to do this is in paper towel. There's, give me 1 second. I'm going to look for, I have some in paper towel. Let me go and see if I can find one and see so far, because I think it's 3 days at this time. I think there's 3 days right now. So let me see me find get this one and see if I can show you guys the result, because it's many ways of propagating, rooting plants. Give me a second, guys. Oh, thank you, Godich. Thank you, sis. Sorry for that, guys. You see here? You naturally see the root. It start pushing out the white root right there. You see? And this is just a few days. This is only a few days. So this is a way how you propagate cassava as well. And this way work pretty fast as well. As far as I'm seeing here, this work really fast because this is only a few days. And how I prepare it, guys, I wrap it with wet paper towel, So wrap it with wet paper towel, put it in a Ziploc bag. And close up the Ziploc bag. And then you just put it in a dark area. So what I'm seeing right now, I know for a fact that this is working. And it's working really good because you could naturally see how strong the root looking coming out of the body of the stick. So this work really well, and this way work really well. This is why we have this big root system from this one. So we now prepare this one with the soil. So we're not troubling this anymore. This done with until April when we take them out outdoors. This one, I'm trying to root this one now. So after this one root, we're going to take it out, put it in some soil as well. Because I'm going to tell you this. You have to have options, right? And this is why I'm doing different ways. Because the thing is, you could do this in looking healthy here now, but you still have to prepare it in a way that it can survive. You see what I'm coming from? Remember, I did this today. But if I ain't take care of this plant, it's not gonna survive. So it ain't finished. It ain't finished. I still got to deal with this February, March, April, 3 months. I got to deal with this indoors before I could take it outside. So you still have to take care of your plants. Them. It's not just about just rooting them, propagate them, and root them. You still have to take care of these during the winter. With the onion, you could take the onion out. Once it sprout, it push in root. You could take it out and put it outside in the winter. But you can't do this. You have to make sure. So now, how should I care for this plant? The motive is, I already know that this plant can't do too much indoors. I already know that. So my goal is just to give this plant just enough water to survive. That's my goal. Because these plants, when I plant them, I'm not watering them. So all these is ways of programming your plants, your seed, programming your plants. This is where how programming your plants work. Because you feed them, barely give them water, just give them enough to survive. When you take them out, they don't need too much water. And that's why I don't need to wet my plants them either. Because the way how I treat them for the 3-4 months I'm dealing with them, then when I transplant them, I plant them deep. And because I plant them deep, I don't water my plants them, guys. I don't. The only plants I might water is the one in the container, not the one them in ground. So what I'm doing here is just the beginning. I'm telling you. I still have to take care of these plants until the spring. Now, like these now, I'm just gonna break these up and I'm just gonna throw them in the container. You see where I'm coming from? I'm just gonna just throw them in the container. And then the more it grow and the more root it push, then I'm gonna add more soil. But my goal is just to keep this plant growing. Give it enough water just to survive. Just to survive. You see, when I gardener, and you dealing with these plants, especially you caring for them from seedlings, from the seed, from the cuttings, whatever, you caring for them, you have the ability to program them in the way you want them to grow. But how could you do that? You also got to be observing. You also got to be observing. You also got to be paying attention. Because if you don't, you will lose them before you're able to go out for. And it's hard for me to work this hard. Because, guys, it's not easy. It's not easy to walk and keep these plants for 3, 4, 5 months before you could take them out. It's not easy. It's challenging. It's pretty challenging. But what I can say, very rewarding. And you educate yourself. That's the thing. This is why, guys, I could do these shows and these live, because I observe, I pay attention, I try different things to see which one works best. You see where I'm coming from? So this is how I do it. The honest truth is, last year is my first time growing cassava in this zone. Not the first time growing cassava, but in this zone is the first time growing cassava. But I grew cassava before. And it could be challenging. It could be challenging. So all this you see I'm doing here, it's challenging, but the reward is so good. The reward, just to see that all that you put in, and then the reward of how the plants are growing so healthy, it's worth it, and able to harvest, it's worth it. So this is one way. You also can push it down in the soil. You also can push it down in the soil. But the thing is, with if you put it down in the soil to root it in the soil, the thing is you have to make sure that the soil is at a certain temperature. It cannot be too cold. It is not gonna germinate. It's not gonna push no root, propagate. It's not gonna push no root. So the soil is a good way, but I do believe this is faster, and I also believe this is faster. Because all you got to do, you damp it in a paper towel, put this, the plastic. The plastic is to make sure that no air go in and dry out the paper towel, the water out of the paper towel, because it needs the moisture. So this is what the plastic for. So this is a really good way. This is a really good way and also the soil. But I do believe these ways works better. Yes, definitely. Not, I wouldn't say better, I just say faster. But this is just the beginning of this journey. This is just the beginning. Because they still have 3 months that you got to take care of these plants. Let me show you something again. I'm not sure if you guys gonna be able to see this because of the light. What I have in this container here, this is pigeon peas. That's what you see in here. And up there is, these are, sorry you can't see well. These are, sorry. No! These pigeon peas, I cannot take them out until August, not August, April. So even though they germinate, as you can see, I still have 3 months to take care of these things. So it can be challenging, I'm telling you. It can be very challenging. But is it worth it? Is it worth your time? The reason why I'm showing you guys these things is because I want you all to understand that these things could be very challenging. I don't want you to believe that it's just something you could just, I want you to understand that it's very challenging and it could be very frustrating at times, very frustrating. Because if you're not taking care of them the right way, you could lose them and that could really stress you out. This is why I love to use different methods. This is why I like to use different methods. So if this one ain't work, the other one might work. You see? It's good. I'm going to show you. It's good. This is a plan. I had also bring this plan. This is a plant right here. Mm-hmm. Yes. You see this? This is a tropical plant. This is from the island. This is an oregano. Yes, an oregano. Shout out to Fifi for giving me this plant. But it's a tropical plant. It's good. It's a seasoning. It's good for seasoning, like seasoning your food. Right. It's a tropical plant. But because I'm able to give it the type of atmosphere, the type of what it needs, I'm still able to cook from these. These are seasoning. I could just come and clip a limb and get fresh seasoning out of this container. Fresh seasoning. So this is what I'm saying, guys. It could be challenging, but it's worth it. And I don't have this in a grow tent. I don't have it in a grow light. I just have this where the regular light shining on it. But you just don't want that room to go down below to at least 37 degrees. Once you could keep it above that, you good. This is another spinach that growing in here as well. This is a spinach that growing as well. So I'm just trying to tell you guys, man, you could have your little herbs, seasoning, growing, that you could get your little fresh seasoning. You know, you could get your fresh seasoning to put in your pot instead of you got to go buy these things that done dry out already. You go in and pick fresh leaf and put in your pot. I also had the broadleaf thyme, similar to this. It's similar to this, but the leaf is broad, growing as well. So creating these atmosphere for these plants, it worth it. It really worth it. So this is why I don't mind go in and spend the time and take care of these other plants because it's worth it. It's really worth it. Now, in the spring, what I'm going to do in the spring, I'm just going to take this out. I'm just going to take this outdoors and this going to just keep producing. This is why I planted it in a container because it's just going to keep producing and then you take it outdoor, then you bring it indoor and the soil is ridiculous dry. I barely wet this plant. Barely wet it. The soil is ridiculous dry. Because you don't want to wet them too much either. Why you don't want to wet them too much? Because root rot. This is a tropical plant right here. Growing indoor without any sun. And I still able to harvest from it every day. Seasoning. This is good seasoning. This with onion. This blend up with onion and garlic. Man, I don't know why this thing is so dark, man. Yes, look at the leaf. This is the spinach. And this is the oregano. Look at the leaf. Tropical plants growing indoor. These plants love hot sun, not cool weather, hot sun. But you're able to create the atmosphere for them. You always have food. You always have food. So what I'm saying is, it takes time and effort, but it's very rewarding. This is why I keep saying, my garden season never over. My garden season never finish. These are things I just be doing. Like now, I don't prepare my soil already. Now what I'm doing, I'm propagating, setting seed. And all this months going forth is garden season. So my garden season never stop. It's an ongoing, but it's rewarding. When you start harvesting, that's when you realize, my goodness. When you start watching the plants them growing and producing fruit and food and vegetables, it's rewarding. So guys, I'm going to end it here today. I'm hoping that these information can actually help somebody in some form of the other. But one thing I want to make sure, and I'll let you guys know, you cannot just do these things and just believe that they're going to turn out successful. You cannot just do these things and just leave them. They come with care. You have to care them. You got to take care of them. You got to pay attention to them. You got to see if they look like something ain't right. Like these leaf, you see these leaf is green. If I realize that these leaves dry, it's gonna draw my attention. So these are things you have to look for. You got to make sure that this continue growing and even pushing out more. Once you see this start grow, you got to start wondering what's going on down there. So even though you went through all this, make sure they root. That doesn't mean it's end. What it means, this is just the start. This is just the beginning. So now taking care of them indoors is very challenging, but it's rewarding. All right? So I just want to say thank you guys as always. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Good Eats. Thank you, TWP Popcorn. Thank you all for coming out today again. I'm doing these videos. I'm trying to motivate and enlighten people. I also want people to understand gardening is not something you just plan and just walk away. No, you have to pay attention. You got to take care of these plants. That's how you will able to get food from your garden. That's how you will able to get food in abundance from your garden. All right? So I just want to say thank you all again for coming out today. I appreciate you all. Garden season is rolling through, and don't wait till spring begin. Start preparing, start thinking, and get everything in line. So when the spring come, you just planting. That's what I'm trying to do here. Prepare everything, keep my seedling them going, get everything ready. So when the spring come, it will be planting time. So thank you all again. Truly appreciate you guys. You guys have a blessed and wonderful day. Sorry about the lighting. I'm surely gonna get the lighting together. All right. Sorry for that. Thank you all. Appreciate you all.